Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at our AGM today. My name is Laura Lee Heggie. Screens are not advancing. Thank you for joining us. I'm just having a little technical issue with my screen advancing. If I could get some help, that would be great. Not quite sure why. Oh, there we go. I got it. Sorry for that. Anyway, thanks again. I'm Laura Lee Heggie. I'm the Director of Business Development here at HRAI, and I'm glad you're joining us this afternoon. We've got a few housekeeping items that we'd like to get through before we get started with things. First of all, just so you know, we will be recording the event and it will be available after the meeting. So please feel free to share it with colleagues who may not have been able to join us today. All attendees are currently in listen mode, so that's just to help us reduce distractions and disruptions. If you're having any technical issues, please feel free to put those in the chat and our technical team will help you out with those. Oh, a little off track here with the slides. Also, just be mindful of the rules of conduct. I'll leave them up on the screen for a few seconds for you to review them. We are following our meetings will be conducted in compliance with the Canadian Competition Act and regulations. Just as I said, just leave it up there for a few seconds for you to get through the rules of conduct. Okay. So as we did in the previous session, if you have questions, please feel free to click on the little Engage tab at the top of your video screen and enter them there. We will be reviewing them for you as we go along. If you're having technical issues, please use the chat, which is on the right-hand side of your browser. We've got tech support here who can help you out if you're having any kind of issues at all with the platform. So now I'd like to just spend a few minutes talking about the voting process, which is going to happen in this session. If you are a voting member, then you should be logging on to the Slido app for voting. You should have received the link and a code in an email prior to the AGM. So just give everyone a second to make sure that they're ready for voting with Slido this afternoon. And while you're doing that, I will just go over how the voting process is going to work so we're all familiar with it. In case this is new for you. So starting with how the voting works, in order for a motion to pass, we need to have a majority of votes. So that will include both the members present today as well as any of the proxies that we receive. If there are any votes against or abstains, that will not impact a majority result. However, if abstains and or votes against result in the majority of votes for a motion, then the motion will not pass. So you're aware we have received names of those wishing to move and second for each of the motions in advance of the AGM, and we'll make sure that we read those individual names out so that you're aware of who has moved and seconded each of the motions. And then we'll open the vote in Slido for you to either vote in favor, opposed, or abstaining the motion. We'll give you about 20 seconds to complete your vote. We'll try to give you about a 5-second warning, just so you know we're going to close it up, and then we'll announce the results. So just so we make sure that everybody is able to vote, we're going to do a quick practice vote. The motion is to approve Potato Head as HRAI's mascot. So this motion is moved by Wonder Woman and seconded by Superman. Normally at this time in the vote, we would open the floor in case there are any issues or questions to discuss, but I don't think we need to on this one, so we'll just open the vote. So if you make sure that you're accessing Slido, you should be able to vote for this motion. So we'll give you about 20 seconds from here. About 5 seconds remaining to place your vote. Okay. All right.
The majority has voted in favor.
Thanks so much. So Potato Head is our new mascot and the motion has been passed. Thanks very much. If you have any technical issues, as I mentioned earlier, please make sure you comment in the chat and someone will be sure to help you out with that. Okay. And now I'd like to introduce you to the HRAI Wholesaler Chair, Mr. Bill Davis. Over to you, Bill.
Great, thanks, Laura Lee. So good afternoon and or good morning, depending where you are in the country. Welcome to the Wholesalers Division Annual Meeting. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Bill Davis, Chair of the Wholesalers Division and Vice President and General Manager for Echo Heating Products Limited. I'd now like to call the meeting to order and welcome members and guests in attendance. Just a reminder to please be mindful of the rules of conduct for the HRAI meetings. It's appreciated that members adhere to these rules. I confirm that with those present today and proxies received, we have constituted a quorum for the meeting. The agenda for today's AGM is on the screen for you to review. So first, we're going to start with a motion on approval of the minutes of the last meeting held on October 1st, 2020. These were provided in advance of the AGM in the package that you would have received. So we're going to make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 1st, 2020 Wholesalers AGM. And that motion was moved by James Campo and seconded by Bruce Passmore. So pause for a minute and ask if there are any issues to be raised with that motion. Laura Lee or Loretta, any issues that you're seeing?
No.
Not for me either, Bill. No.
Great, thank you. Let's open it up to a vote. So the vote will be open for 20 seconds. So we'll give it that amount of time. So go ahead and cast your votes. Okay, let's close that vote. Loretta, would you please read the vote tally?
Mr. Chair, with the proxies received and the votes today, there is a majority vote for in favor.
Thank you for voting. That motion is passed. Okay, now we're going to move on to approval of HRAI's auditors. And so put a motion forward to approve the HRAI's auditors, which is Welch LLP. And that motion was moved by Bruce Passmore and seconded by Steve Wilson. So I'll pause for a moment to see if there are any issues that anyone would like to raise at this point. And again, I'll call Laura Lee and Loretta. Any issues that have been raised?
I don't see any issues.
Okay.
No.
Great. Let's open it up to a vote. And again, we'll open the vote for 20 seconds. And so go ahead and cast your votes now. Okay, vote will close in 5 seconds. Okay, Loretta, would you read the vote tally, please?
Yep, Mr. Chair, with the proxies received and the votes from today, there is a majority vote in favor.
Wonderful. Thank you for voting, and that motion is passed. Next up, we've got approval of the 2021-2022 HRAI Board of Directors and the Wholesalers Board of Directors. We'll look at first the motion to approve the 2021-2022 HRAI Board of Directors. And you see that up on your screen there. This motion was moved by Grant Blackmore and seconded by Jerry Salucci. So any issues can be raised at this point?
Mr. Chair, should we advance to the Wholesalers Board as well? I think it's a dual vote.
Yeah, let's do that. Thanks, Lauralee. I'll give it a moment if anyone has any issues that they'd like to raise. Again, Lauralee and Loretta, please let me know.
No issues?
Okay, let's cast our votes. So again, we'll keep the vote open for 20 seconds. So go ahead and cast your votes now. Okay, we'll close the vote in 5 seconds. All right, Loretta, please read us the tallies.
Okay, Mr. Chair, with the proxies received and the votes from today, there is a majority vote in favor.
Wonderful. All right, thanks for voting on that, and that motion is passed as well. So that brings us to the end of the motions. Thank you, everyone. And so in concluding the AGM proper, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the past year in the wholesaler division and mention some key initiatives that the HRAI is focused on. So as a wholesaler, I'm constantly thinking of how I can add value to the supply chain, both upstream with our manufacturer vendor partners and downstream with our contractor customers, as well as other key influencers across the industry. Companies like ours are in constant evolution, and macro trends like digitization and global pandemics are really accelerants, not the cause. The need to recognize and embrace change will always be a key component of success. We as wholesalers must seek new and improved ways of adding value while recognizing that many of the old ways are still good too. Customer service, expertise, knowledge, and relationships will continue to be how we stay relevant and an important part of the overall HVAC and our supply chain. Now, supply chain has certainly been the hottest topic in any industry-related discussion that I've been part of. With what were 2-week lead times in pre-pandemic times stretching out to 44 weeks or more in many cases recently, every part of our industry has felt the effect, with manufacturers short on raw materials, components, and labor, leaving wholesalers scrambling and contractors unable to complete jobs on time. A spillover effect of tightening supply combined with an uptick in demand has been upward pressure on prices. Many in this industry are trying to navigate these turbulent times. And so we've seen also an uptick in demand, and it's caused an upward pressure on prices. Now, although it's been very turbulent, many in this industry and other industries are reporting very healthy financials, quite a different picture from what many predicted in the spring and early summer of 2020. When normal returns, and what that looks like is really anyone's guess. But whatever it is, the HRAI will continue to strive to create a better business environment for our members. This means focusing our efforts around 5 strategic pillars: government relations, membership, education, communications, and business fundamentals. As members strive to add value, the skills and competencies of our people will need to be upgraded now to continue to remain relevant. The first-rate educational opportunities that the HRAI is committed to offering all member companies is one of the most valuable aspects of the HRAI. For example, earlier this year, the HRAI held 4 roundtable discussions from coast to coast with contracting companies that are actively engaged in the handling of refrigerants and who will be impacted by the changes in the marketplace. The 4 groups unanimously agreed that a mandatory awareness training course on safety and handling of mildly flammable refrigerants should be made available to tenured technicians at a low cost. HRAI is currently reviewing training programs that could be modified for the Canadian marketplace. Graduate training will be handled by the colleges and schools that currently train those entering the workforce. Dialogue with Environment Canada and climate change is also ongoing. As we work with them to have them support us and provinces for a very important training program. And as well, this year, the University of Innovative Distribution was offered virtually and was attended by a number of wholesaler members, which through the HRIM membership in the Association Education Alliance, were able to attend at a discounted rate. I know I feel very fortunate to have stumbled upon the HVAC industry many years ago, and it's been quite a ride. Now, with many people looking to retirement in just a few short years, there's an ever-present and growing need for talented folks to join the industry at every level. I'm really excited about the work the HRAI is doing to help a new generation find the joy in this industry the same way that I have. I would encourage all members to also think about what you can do to help spread the word about what great careers exist within this industry. Now, climate action, as we've heard throughout the meeting today, is an issue that is increasingly important to all Canadians. I've been very impressed with the HRI's commitment to representing the industry on that topic, as well as many others to all levels of government. Now, as the HRI continues to add value to our members, it's no surprise that membership, the lifeblood of our association, continues to grow. I'd like to extend my sincere welcome to Technoac Inc., Sandale Utility Products, and HVAC2Go Supply, who joined the division in the past year. Shifting gears to report on results from this year's HRI statistics program, the Canadian HVAC and R market experienced growth across most equipment categories, with only air handlers showing a slight decrease. Ductless split systems showed the largest increase, followed by residential furnaces, residential air conditioners, unit heaters, commercial air conditioners, and chillers. In closing, I want to emphasize how important it is that we continue to have the full support of all of our member companies. My ask of you is to commit to being a champion within your own organization. Encourage active engagement amongst all levels of your staff, and take advantage of the services that HRI has to offer at both the national and local level. We are all stronger and better together when we're supporting the HVAC industry as a whole. So thank you for the trust that you put in me as the chair of the Wholesalers Division. I would like to thank the Wholesaler Board for their dedication to the HRAI and the progress of the HVAC in our industry. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. And with that, I'll pause and ask if there are any questions.
Just a reminder to use the Engage tab if you have any questions to share with us. I don't see any questions at this time, Bill.
Wonderful. Okay, well, in that case, this concludes our AGM. And once again, thank you for attending and your commitment to this organization and the HVAC and our industry generally. And with that, I'll close off. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.